Hey, what's up, guys? Um, just wanted to make a quick video talking about Jack Stauber's Opal. So, I mentioned in a previous video, I was watching a lot of Jack Stauber's videos, and initially, this was like a year back or something, I was introduced to his stuff, and I was quite critical of it. I thought it was just weird and just strange, and I didn't really understand it, you know? Thought it was just like wacky, you know, garbage, but changed a lot over a year, and my perception and my mood has changed. A lot has changed, my awareness. So looking back on it now, it's interesting to think like has have the videos changed? Because I don't remember it being like this. I don't remember any of these things coming up whenever I watched it last time. It's interesting. It's like it the Mandela effect, but with like the change within yourself is reflected in the outside environment. It's like it's always been this way, but we just start to realize it and give it a name when we come into awareness, collectively or as individuals. Interesting. So I'm not gonna play the whole video here because I don't really know anything about copyright, you know, but I think it would be best if you just go and watch it by yourself, and and see it for yourself, interpret it for yourself. I don't want you to have your initial expression of it, like your initial interpretation, influenced by my views on it. So go watch it first, please. I mean, if you don't want to, that's fine too. But I just figured that would be the recommended way so that you can have your own thoughts on it, and then kind of bounce them off of mine and see where they land. A little bit better that way. I don't want to have an influence on you, and that way I'd rather you have your own original thoughts on it. But anyway, let me get into it. So if you watch the video, seeing it's quite a sobering expression of reality for many people growing up, especially many people in the truth. I feel like a lot of people in the truth have had like abusive childhoods and bad childhoods. Well, bad is subjective. I won't say bad because I think bad implies that there was a bad outcome or like a negative outcome. And in some ways there are. Some ways there most definitely are. I certainly was negatively affected by it in many ways, but at the same time, I feel like that's the way that it had to play out in order for me to come into awareness and come into Jesus Christ. So with that being said, the reason why I find it interesting, this one in particular, is because it's almost completely accurate. Like the actual setup and the people and the details are not accurate, but basically the situation is the soul and spirit of it. Like that's essentially what I grew up in for the majority of my life. Was that situation right there, you know? Drug addicts, drunks, uh, narcissists, self-destructive negligence. You know, wasn't bad 100% of the time, but I had times to escape, go to my grandmother's house, and that's what's funny. The part where where she goes to like her imagined family is like me going to my grandmother's house on the weekends to escape having to go be with my mother on the weekends because they get they would do the most drugs on the weekends and get the most fucked up and fight the most. And, I didn't want to be over there for all that because that would be when my stepfather was home from work on the weekends and they would both be in the same house and it was just terrible. I didn't want any part of that at all. And, just feels that way to me. It's like looking back, the how it played out. It's like that situation in itself, when you look back on it, tells me like an allegorical truth about reality in our lives. It's like my mother's house. It's like the strong man's house, you know? Satan. Satan's house. And we can go for temporary amounts of time, we can go in and out to a better place while we're still here, but ultimately we can never really leave the strong man's house except through death. You know, like physical death. There is, of course, the spiritual ego death, etc., etc. But like, you know, what the original meaning of death that most of us understood during the beginning of our lives. You know, physical death. You know, passing away. Nothing to be feared, obviously. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just that's how it is. And so it's what all I mean that's obvious, you know, okay, so had an abusive childhood, this reflects it, it's a Mandela effect and it's directly tied into my own personal experience almost to a T. And it likely was influenced by my own personal experience and me viewing it changed it. Okay, it's fair enough, that's all simple, right? So here's where the next part comes in. Why when you grow in awareness does your influence over the outside environment, specifically like the media that you look into and the art, change so rapidly and so, you know, it's like you can literally have the power to change things, but not change them too much. What is the limit here, and how do we escape this place? Is it really just through physical death, or is there another way that was intended by God that it's not quite been understood? You know, it's like that middle path. And what I see is like, what if we continue growing in awareness and continue growing in power up until the point that things change so rapidly and so intensely that we escape, you know? We're no longer living in the same reality. And that's already happening, obviously. This your subjective reality has changed vastly in the truth, I'm sure, from a younger age to an older age or whenever you started to where you are now. Even if it's been a few months or even a couple weeks, you know, the change can often be quite rapid in the beginning and it has like accelerating points of change, like waves that come. You can like ride the wave up into the next level if you prepare for it. And you can like see the patterns in your life and examine them to see when there would be a rare opportunity where something would come up for you to be able, like a hardship or a reoccurring, you know, ordeal that you could be ready to power through with the right perspective and then end up on the other side more developed than you would have if you were just being tossed about by the wind. You would still develop through being tossed about, but it will exponentially increase your awareness if you were to specifically have the intent and purpose to increase your own standing in the spiritual vision. You know, it's like it it multiplies your gains if you were to put your attention upon it, just like your attention does to everything. You know, your attention will multiply anything in your life you put upon for any period of time. You know, there is no time, but you do pay attention. You know, it's the only thing you can pay in this life. And attention is very valuable, and the people who run this place know that. You know, I won't say whether they're negative, positive, or anything in between, but they know that, and whatever they do, I'm sure has that in mind. The fact that your attention is the most powerful and most valuable thing in this place. So take care what you put your attention upon. Make sure that it's with your own intent, not with another man's, you know? So, let's use this for an example, this video. How can me putting my attention on this video helped me further my spiritual growth? Well, it's like facing your demons from the past, you know, facing things that I haven't faced. And it's being brought up in a very particular time where I'm at a very high level of awareness right now. That could change. I could go back to neutral. This time could pass. I hope it doesn't. I really would rather keep going with it. Oh, just a small note that I noticed down here: 391,000 likes. Okay, 3 plus 9 is 12. 12 plus 1 is 13. I was talking about 13 in a couple videos back. Short poem that I did. Interesting. The numbers, they keep coming. 6 plus 8 is 14. Plus 1 is 15. 555, the 5 man, us. 5 and 13. So it's like the 5 here and the 13 here. 5 plus 13 is 18. 666. But it's also like you, 5, and the 13. And like the word subscribers by the 5, it's like you are subscribing to death, right? This is like, if you let this go as it is, you will be subscribing to death, essentially. The etymology of that word, the general symbolic meaning of to subscribe, not in the way of YouTube. But yeah, these things have to be dealt with. They cannot fester and they cannot be forgotten. They can, but they must be. You have to do it, not, I won't say manually, but they have to be within your sphere of conscious influence, at least to some degree, in order to deal with it. And the more impactful they've been to you, the more consciously you may have to bring them up, dredge them out from the depths of your subconscious and face them face to face and then let them go. So otherwise they'll just keep swimming down there forever, and you'll come up, try to advance the level, and you'll try to pull your feet up out of the water, and you've got 15 chains on you from things in the past, and it's weighing you down, and it's causing your awareness to not accelerate as fast as it could. And I feel like most truthers would like to accelerate their awareness. I think that's kind of the whole point here for all of this. All the comments, all the talking, all the analyzation. It's like trying to focus your intention on raising your awareness is what raises your awareness. Like focusing on God, on source, what have you, etc., etc. So, with this video in particular, with those demons that I really had yet to face and let go of, I found myself being able to watch it, and I didn't like physically cringe like I feel like I would have if I had been faced with this at a different time. This time, like, I was able to be neutral and just like see it for what it is, and then be like, okay, that happened. I am who I am now. I can be a bit of a jerk. I can be a bit sarcastic and passive aggressive and just plain out aggressive, at times. I think a lot of that can stem from that fact, but, now that I'm in the awareness, I have to make a choice. Everything I do is purposeful because I have the ability to discern what's right and what isn't, and I have the ability to choose what I would like to do. It isn't completely controlled by my mind. I was a real dickhead to uncanny deduction um, not too long ago, and I totally felt bad about that for real. I kind of didn't. I guess in my subconscious mind, I think lower of people a lot of the time because I haven't dealt with many people that are in the truth. But that doesn't mean I should treat those people who I consider not in the truth worse either. And because I can't know that, God knows that. I can't judge that in the first place. Like all these assumptions that I have built into like my frame of character are incorrect. And I feel like if you're anything like me, you have some assumptions built into your frame of belief and character that may be incorrect as well. I don't mean incorrect that they're like wrong. It's just that like to assume anything is wrong in a subjective reality. Assumption is a sin because it's like putting words in God's mouth. It's like using the Lord's name in vain, saying this is the way that it is, and this is this person, because only the Lord can know a man's heart. So it's like being inconsiderate of the fact that you are a fool while you're in this place for the most part. We are growing in awareness rapidly, obviously, but you know what I mean. There's nothing to fear, but I will tell you that if you take the attention and objective to raise your awareness, you will run into some things that you're not very comfortable with. In fact, you can run some things that you're really not comfortable with facing. There's a few things I've done and said that I still have yet to deal with, and I'm going to have to face at some point on this journey if I want to accelerate even further. I will try to willingly do this, but ultimately it will come through circumstance, I believe, the opportunity. Like the wave comes through circumstance, but your intent to do and handle it a certain way is what you can be ready for. You know, you can have that state of mind ready for when the circumstance comes so that you are like ready to paddle your boat over the wave onto the next level. That's the way I got this from Ben from Bat City, by the way. Credit to him. He introduced me to that concept first. Extremely genius concept. All kudos to him. You know what I mean? If you like his channel, just comment and I'll give you his channel. But anyway, yeah, very interesting. I've had to face a lot of things that were uncomfortable to me here lately. So I feel like this is a special time. This is one of those times of growth. I've had to face who I am to other people, how I act. I feel like I'm more mature for all of it. We can just leave spiritual out of it, because it all depends on your viewpoint in that matter. But even just personally, with my character, has been maturing. I've been going through a lot of stress, been working a lot, not sleeping very much. There's been no real support that I could grasp onto. I've been in a new job with a lot of strange people that I don't know and that really don't like me. And that's a tough situation, for someone like me. I can deal with it, it's just, it takes a lot of my energy up. And I'd rather use my energy furthering my awareness than working for the man. So, here's what I'd ask of you if you are watching this. If you'd like to further your awareness, I think what would be good is if you're watching this and you're hearing these words and you watched up until this point, you should comment, or well, if you don't want to engage the system like YouTube, you can email me. I'll leave my email in the description so that you can uh, send your intent in a time that you had to face something that was uncomfortable and like put it out there. And I won't read it or anything. It's just an experiment. I won't read it or anything, and then maybe if you keep watching the channel, you can like check back with yourself. You don't have to let me know. Check back with yourself and see if it made a difference by putting it out there. Or you don't have to do me, even anybody, any channel, anybody else. Just let someone know about it other than yourself and see if that has an effect on it. Because I'm gonna try that tomorrow. I'm gonna put my intent out to my father and let him know that I would like to further my awareness. Well, in the way that I would say it to him. God bless my father. He does everything for me. He's the only reason I'm alive right now. So, you know, no disrespect there. We just have to talk to everybody a different way in order to get our point across. You know what I mean? So, yeah. Uh, I'll leave my email down in the description if anybody watches it and wants to try that out. But really appreciate y'all. God bless you. I hope you have a good evening, morning, day, etc. And I mean that with genuine concern. I'll give you permission to take some of my energy if you need it for the day, okay? Give you permission right now. You have permission. You've watched this far, you have permission, okay? So, this is your permission right now that you can take energy from me if you need to and use it for yourself to get you through the day. Okay? I give you permission. So, yeah, bless you. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you got something out of it because I did. Most certainly, I always do. And I just like someone else to share in the wealth of, creation and experience. So, yeah, I love everybody in the world. I try to, and yeah, I hope y'all have a good one. I appreciate it.